Yo. What's going on, man? What is today? Today is August the 28th, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show live, WNBA show as well, and NFL show live from I'm live on Twitter and YouTube. I did get that fixed. I said I would try to a couple days ago, and that is fixed. So we'll get into the one game recap, go through a couple of the comments, 5 games on the board for today. Try to be a little bit quicker and precise. WNBA has been really, really crazy as of late. So hopefully we can figure it out today. Interested in talking some of the games out with you guys. So let's do just that. Yesterday I made real quick. Let me just update a couple things. Yesterday I made one bet. That bet was on the Las Vegas Aces to go up and over their team total, which was 92.5. That turned out to be a loser. The Aces did not show up. Offensively, they looked pretty terrible, if we're being honest. So 0-1 day for me yesterday. WNBA tends to be a absolute it's difficult. It's really, really difficult capping the W right now. Really makes me want to look into a couple player props, which I'll share a couple looks that I'm looking at for today's 5 games. So let's go through a couple of the comments real quick. Then we'll get into the stream. What's up to my guy Mark? He says lots of games today. Let's find something good. Right there with you. Same thing with my guy Aaron. Good morning, Chris. I've been making a lot of donations for the Aces and they've been inconsistent. Right there with you. I love the energy though. Love the energy. Shout out to my guy Mitchell in here as always. Says 5 games today. Let's be selective in cash. Remember, a lot of big spreads I've not been covering, and that's a fact. He says press the like button as you enter in the morning, as well as comment below. Right, appreciate the comment, Mitchell. Appreciate the comment for sure. If you guys hit the like button on the way in, definitely helpful. What's up, Prestigious Prodigy? Says I hate the Sky. I think they are terrible, but I think they are in a must-win game spot. I know Kennedy Carter is out, but they really need this game. That's a fact. Top of the morning to my guy Justin. Chelsea took the night off. Boy, a lot of them felt like they took the night off. Kelsey Plum took the night off. She didn't get the double digits. What's up, GB Bets? Good morning to you as well, bro. Helms in here. All right, let's jump into the games for today. Shout out to Lewis for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Christian asking about the Mystics. We'll get into all this, man. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Smokey Steam Bessie, he'll be on the Sky as well. He's just all alone out there. Yeah, it's a lot going on, man. Let's jump into the games for today. First one we got the Fever and the Sun. I just want to double check these lines real quick. I see this at 4. It looks like it's the best number you can get for Indiana. So consensus is 3.5. Total 164.5 as well. Actually moving up. Open 164.5 looks like it's the number right now. This is the game that I actually like the most. So let's jump right into it, man. Injury report. There's a lot going on with the injury report for today, especially when you got all the teams playing. Let me just hit the refresh button to make sure I got everything right. I want to say Connecticut does not have anybody on the injury report. Tiffany Mitchell hasn't been playing. She didn't play in that last game on Saturday. So you got a lot of rest for Connecticut coming into this spot. And then for Indiana, Carly Samuelson is listed as probable. I think she will play. Last thing I read last night. So for the Connecticut Sun, they do have a rest advantage here. 3 days rest compared to just 1. And they actually got more rest after the game as well. So Connecticut side, 3 days rest, second of a 3-game road trip, and there's 6 games since the Olympic break. They have been relatively, doing a lot better recently, specifically on the offensive end of the basketball. You can see these numbers are accurate. They are the second. I had to double check myself to make sure I wasn't tripping, but they are those numbers are not correct. Let me let's check this real quick. So this should say that I know their offense has been a little bit better. They're 6th offensively, not that bad defensively. They're actually really good defensively. 3rd in defensive rating over the last 5 games. But their offense, my point is that their offense has picked up just a little bit. If I go back and I look at the Indiana Fever, they have also been playing a little bit better, and they've been playing a lot better at home than they've been on the road. When I looked into the numbers, Indy is 8-5 straight up, 9-4 against the spread. this season at home. So they've been covering 8-1 straight up and against the spread since June the 1st at the crib. And in those 4 of those 9 games, they were dogs. They won all 4 games, including big wins against the Seattle Storm. I think that was like past Saturday, and against the New York Liberty. They knocked both of those off. They played excellent in games within 2 possessions. That was something I wanted to look at as well. They're 11-4 straight up in against the spread when they're getting 4 points or less. 12-3 straight up and against the spread when the line is within 5 either way. So if they're getting less than 5 points or they're laying less than 5 points, these are the times that you really want to take the fever in games that are supposed to be competitive. If they're home and the line is within 5 either way, a perfect 7-0 straight up, 7-0 against the spread are the Indiana Fever. And then I also looked at short road favorites, laying less than 3 or less, coming off a win as a dog, and it's typically a letdown spot. 8-19 straight up, 7-20 against the spread, only covering about less than 26% of the time. So I'm saying all that to say what? Yeah, Connecticut has the rest advantage here, but the dogs have been covering. And the Fever specifically as a dog have looked really, really good. If I'm playing the game, I'm only looking towards the Fever plus the 4, and I'm also looking towards the Connecticut Sun to go below their team total. That's what I like in this game. I like Indy. I think that they can win the game outright. There's also something to be said about Indy in these double revenge spots. The Connecticut Sun beat them at the beginning of the season. The Connecticut Sun are a really difficult matchup for them because they do have the bigs to kind of take away from what the Fever like to do and get the ball inside the paint. But Indiana's playing really, really good right now. Only way I'm looking at the game is Fever. And I also like the Connecticut Sun team total to go below the 83.5, I think it is. I think Connecticut team total is 83.5. I will be looking towards the under. Player prop wise, I put this in an underdog video last night over on Twitter. Alyssa Thomas, lower than 8.5 assists or under 8.5 assists. Since June 1st as a home dog, the Fever, allowing just 76 points per game, they've not allowed any of their opponents to go over 6 assists. Alyssa Thomas is also under 8.5 assists in 6 of her last 8 games. So that's how I'm looking at this one. I like plus the points with the dog, the home dog, and the Fever. And I'll just wait and see if I can get a 4.5, see if it moves to 4.5, whatever the case might be. But I'll be on the Fever if I'm playing this one. Let's see what you guys are saying before we move on. What up, Smokey McCloud? What up to my guy, Sa? Justin says Sun over 83.5 in his pocket. So we're thinking completely opposite in this one. I like it the opposite. Helm says he likes the Sun -3. Definitely some disagreement there. What's up, Lewis? Appreciate you for tapping in. Smokey says best bet in the game. I like Alyssa Thomas triple-double. So I'm disagreeing with everybody in the chat this morning, and that's okay. Good morning, Sarah. Mark says looking at Sun -3.5, but maybe team total over 83.5 is better. Yeah, I'm disagreeing with everybody in the chat this morning. I must be by myself, man. Must be by myself. She says like the Fever to cover and win. Yeah, I'm not. I know that Connecticut's been playing a little bit better lately, but I'm not fading the Fever. I've been on the wrong side of fading the Fever at the crib a couple times, and this is when they've been playing their best basketball. Like I said, outright wins against the Storm, outright wins against the Liberty, and Connecticut's already beaten them 2 times already this season. So yeah, I like the Fever in this spot, man. By myself, it feels like, but that's cool. All right, let's move on to the next game. We have the Washington Mystics in the Chicago Sky. Very, very interesting game here, in my opinion, just because we saw, I don't know if you guys pay attention to it or not, but this line opened, I think it was Chicago -2.5, and then all the injury news came out. So for people who don't know, let me just make sure I got all of it right. Shakira Austin has already been ruled out. She left that game in Seattle with an ankle injury and did not return. And Carly Samuelson is also listed as game time decision. She's listed as probable. I think she will play in this game. On the opposite side, Kennedy Carter is already listed as out in this game. And there was a report that came out from the Chicago Tribune that COVID ran through the locker. Well, COVID. I won't say COVID ran through the locker room. Kennedy Carter is diagnosed with COVID, and there was some sickness that forced the team to cancel practice yesterday, is what I read. So I'm not sure how they're going to feel when they wake up in the morning. Like maybe that's spread throughout the locker room. And that kind of makes me think that Washington wins the game. I know it's difficult to bet Washington, especially without Shakira Austin, but they've looked a lot better recently. You got the Mystics coming off a game. Well, let's just keep it moving. We got the Mystics coming off a game. 1 day's rest coming off a game as an outright win against Seattle as a 10-point dog. And, a lot of my write-up, of course, was with Shakira Austin and Brittany Sykes, but a lot of it is what they've been able to do defensively. They really, really picked it up. Last 5 games, 5th in defensive rating, allowing just a tad bit over 81 points, holding opponents to under 47% shooting, which ranks 5th. And they've been the second best team guarding the above the break 3, which is what Chicago struggles at anyway. I was thinking that it's going to be difficult for Washington to keep Chicago off the boards, especially without Shakira Austin down there. And I just think this is going to be an ugly game, man. I think if I'm playing right now, Kennedy Carter is averaging 17.3 points per game since the Marina Mabrey trade. She's shooting 41% from the field to go along with 5.5 rebounds and 3.5 assists. If you're telling me Kennedy Carter's not going to be out there, I think that's a lot of points. How's Chicago going to get to their team total today with Washington playing a little bit better defensively? I mean, the recipe for success is to keep Angel Reese and Cardoso off the boards. And you should be, if you're the Mystics, you should be able to compete in this game. This line has shifted all the way to, Chicago -3, +3. And I think if I'm playing it, I'm probably just taking the money line with the Mystics. I think they can keep it going today. Just with Brittany Sykes' bike, you still got Ariel Atkins. I still think that there's some opportunity there. And I talked about this one last night in the underdog pick 'em as well. But I'd be looking at Angel Reese to go up and over. I know the rebounds is really, really high, 14.5. But since June, Angel Reese has back-to-back games where she's had 20 plus rebounds, 15 or more in 3 of her last 4. Washington, like I said last night, they're not a great rebounding team, but they're not bad. But then you take Shakira Austin out, who's definitely by far their best rebounder. Kennedy Carter already being rolled out. Angel Reese probably going to be playing pity-pat off the backboard. I think she has the lowest field goal percentage in the WNBA in the restricted area, but she gets a lot of those misses herself and just misses again, and then she gets another rebound, misses again, and then she eventually passes it out or shoots it again, makes it. So I think it's going to be a very, very sloppy game from a field goal perspective, especially without Kennedy Carter being there. I'll be looking at Angel Reese to go up and over her 14.5 boards. Let's see what you guys are seeing here. PD says, I'm leaning Connecticut -3.5, but haven't pulled the trigger yet. Fever team total over, I think is what Bill says. Prestigious Prodigy likes the Scott. Helms agrees with me here, says under 158, and I agree with that. Justin says he got it 159.5. And Mystics first half. Mystics have been great first half. I just don't want to lay with them. I don't know. Real quick, let's double check and see how well the Mystics have been as a favorite in the first half. We know that on the season they've been really, really good. Mystics are 19-9-2 against the spread in the first half. But if they're a road favorite, first time all season, they were a road dog. I already had this one locked in, +1.5 yesterday. I ended up not playing it. Just kind of wanted to see where the number would go. It was only available on ESPN Bet as a road dog, 11-3-1 in the first half. But this will be the first time all season they've been a road favorite in the first half and in the full game. Yeah, so Helm still likes Mystics first half. Prestigious Prices hate them, but Sky win today. Helm says Sky no Carter and potentially more to be rolled out. And this is what I was thinking, Helm. I'm thinking Kennedy Carter was the only one who got ruled out yesterday. What if they had to abruptly cancel practice? What if she's hurt? What if more, more of her teammates potentially get ruled out today? This total should go down. I like the under a little bit more than anything else, given that updated news on the injury report. Because I looked into the game a little bit before. Let's see. Best number you can get right now is... Best number you can get right now is under 159. See, is it a 159? Under 159.5 on FanDuel. Under one. Yeah. If I'm betting the game, that's how I'm betting it. Like I said yesterday, I had already put it on my short list. Washington first quarter. Let's keep it moving. Jay Holiday says favorites have been losing record after the break, which has been crazy. And today, I had looked into it yesterday, just to put some numbers behind that. I think it was 8-19, so it should be 8-20. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, 13-20. Our favorite 13, 17-1. Our favorites since the Olympic break. Uh 13, 17-1 are the favorites. A lot of them been losing. Games also been going under 19-12 to the under, hitting about 62% to the unders as well. Um Appreciate you for tapping in, Justin. Dropping dimes, just hammering the Sky team total under 80.5 when Carter News hit. Oh, he already played it. PG says leaning under here as well. Good morning, Kristen. Appreciate you for tapping in. Smokey says I love this game. Double. Reese over 16 rebounds. I like Cardoso double. Also, no Carter feels like they are going to eat. In Washington, worst rebounders, and no Austin. Sheesh. I like Sky. I like Sykes over her points. Yeah. Brittany Sykes should have a big game today. Ariel Atkins could potentially get hot as well. Sky couldn't rule more people out, Dropping Dime said, and that's my thought process as well. Helm says Sky not practicing yesterday is not good for them, especially no Carter. They got to figure out how the offense will flow during the game. No prep time. Agree. Dropping Dimes says Cardoso a double is plus 300. Reese still leads the league in offensive rebounds, even if you take away the ones that she missed. Yeah. I think it's a lot of agreement here, man. Let's move. She says, any chance the Sky win, Chris? I don't want to bet the game, if I'm being honest. I think Washington could win the game, but Washington's also tanking. I don't think they're trying to make the playoffs. Like, it's difficult for me to want to bet Washington, especially coming off a win as a letdown. But if they had Shakira Austin, I do think that, they're not rolling over. They go into Seattle and win that game when they could have gave up. I know Chicago needs to win. They haven't done themselves any favors recently, but I think they've lost 3 of their last 4 games. But I don't know, man. It's a difficult game, especially not knowing right now at 8:30 in the morning. It's not knowing if Chicago's players are going to play. I do think there's something to, the line flipping 5 points. And like I said, it'd be Washington money line, but not anything that I'm interested in. I think I'm more interested in the total. All right, let's keep it moving. Next game up, we got the Atlanta Dream and the Seattle Storm. And I want to say this line has moved to 8.5. Let me just double check it real quick. I think the total is still the same. Just double check it. Yeah, 8.5. Actually, I see a 9 as well. You can get Atlanta plus 9 if you're interested in this one. So let's do this. Let's change this. I think the total is still the same. All right, and let's get into this one. So you got the injury report for this one before we get started. The Atlanta Dream do have Alicia Gray listed as questionable for this game. She took that elbow to the face and sustained like a little back injury from Aaliyah Boston in that game just 2 nights ago. So that's a big time questionable tab for Alicia Gray, somebody that's averaging 16 points per game for this team, 4 rebounds and 2.5 assists, especially with Atlanta offense just being really, really bad recently. So the Atlanta Dream, 1 day's rest, first road game since the Olympic break. They had 5 straight home games, and they've been profitable on the road, 9-4 against the number. The Seattle Storm on the opposite side, the problem with the Atlanta Dream is they haven't been able to score the basketball. You can see offensive rating, while it is 5th, they're 11th in effective field goal percentage over the last 5 games. They really, really struggled to score the basketball, going, I think, under their team total in 4 of their last 5 games, I want to say. Even when they've been winning or covering, it's been because they've been playing a little bit better defense and kind of holding their opponents down. You look at Seattle, second game back home after the 5-game road trip, only 1 day's rest, and they've not been covering. Kind of like the Aces, man, just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games, and they got a big game against the New York Liberty up on deck next. They are 11-4 against the number and 9-6 against the spread at the crib, but this team has not been covering. I want to say that they're 0-6 in their last 6 games against the spread. And you can see why. Bottom right, offensive rating 10th over the last 5 games. They just haven't been able to score the basketball. Jewel Lloyd field goal percentage has been absolutely terrible. She hasn't had a good game in quite a while. I think the integration of trying to get Gabby Williams back was not successful. I think she only had 3 points in that last game, and they had like a third quarter of like 12 points in the last contest. So when I think about this game, this is not one I really want to overthink either. I think it'll be a defensive game. Atlanta's not going to play fast. If Alicia Gray is not there, that's going to be even more difficult for them to score. No Cheyenne Parker-Tyus. Aerial Powers continues to remain out as well. It does feel like the Storm should be able to bounce back in this spot. This is the 3rd time that they've played. Atlanta did beat the Seattle team at home to kick off the post-Olympic play. And then, so they covered that game. The first time that these two teams played was actually in Seattle. Seattle was laying 14.5, ended up winning that game, I think, by 13, 14 points, but they didn't cover that spread either. Now you add Jordan Canada and Ryan Howard, but Alicia Gray is still, listed as questionable. So money continuing to come in on the Storm. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not in the laying points with the favorites right now at all. Seattle hasn't shown me anything, especially offensively. Are you going to be able to create enough offensive separation? If Alicia Gray, if you want Atlanta, I think you definitely want Alicia Gray in. If she's ruled out, you'll get a better number. But I'm trying to figure out how Atlanta is going to be able to muster up enough points. I say all that to say I like under a little bit more. And I noticed a low total at 157.5, but that's the only way I would be able to play it. I think they really, really struggle to score the basketball. Both of the teams could struggle to score, in my opinion. I'll be catching the points with Atlanta, but want to see what's going on with Alicia Gray. And I would also be looking towards the under for the full game. Let's see what you guys are seeing here. Helm says they're hanging at 160 at Bovado this morning. I snatched that up. Okay. Yeah, we're in agreement about that one. Christian says, is it possible the game could get forfeited? Don't know. DK pulled the lines for the game. They pulled the lines because they don't know who's going to play, Christian. And, I think you got to address 9? I want to say 8 in the WNBA. Most of the coaches, especially Teresa Weatherspoon, she don't go that deep with her bench anyway. So we'll see, Christian. I'm not sure if they missing, 4 or 5 players end up showing up, not being able to play. I guess they could potentially forfeit the game. I guess I'm not sure. Jalen says Mystics first half full game in his pocket. He likes it. I think I might have went back too far. Mark says, can we look at Atlanta team total under 75.5, Chris? Absolutely, especially if Alicia Gray is not playing. I like the full game under, but yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. The other thing we got to remember about Atlanta, and you guys can see it, middle in the blue on the left side, when they are a road dog, that's typically when they play a little bit better defense. Offense can probably still struggle. In the Storm, they were 10-point favorites in their last game. They didn't lose because of their defense. They only gave up 74 points. The Washington Mystics went under their team total of 74.5. They lost because they couldn't score the basketball. They only scored 74 points, indicative of that offensive rating being 10th in the last 5 games. Smokey McLeod says Tina Charles over her 24.5 points and rebounds. Howard over her rebounds and Seattle money line. Let's be safe. Okay. Apollo says almost want to get under on Dream Team total. Yeah, if you think Alicia Gray's not going to play, you want to jump in on it early. I have no idea. I didn't read any report. I didn't see anything from the beat writers when I was looking into the game. Fading this game, Jalen says, couldn't talk you off. Can Canada finally go over her 6 assists, leaving everyone on the hook? No, Christian. I'm glad you mentioned this. So also in the underdog fantasy 4 pick'em yesterday, I like Jordan Canada under her 6.5 assists. I mentioned the Dreams offense being 11th in effective field goal percentage over the last 5 games. Jordan Canada is under. She keeps landing right on the hook at 6 assists in 4 straight games. And I think, especially without Alicia Gray, I do think that she's going to struggle. Seattle, are going to have the attention of the Atlanta Dream, not only because they're coming off a loss against the Washington Mystics, so you're going to be locked in defensively, but also because you just lost to the team within the last 2 weeks. So I think Seattle's going to be locked in defensively. She'll probably end up drawing Gabby Williams for majority of the game. Skylar Diggins-Smith is still a pretty good defender, even though it does kind of feel like Skylar is losing a step. So, I like Jordan Canada to go up to stay under her 6.5 assists. Seattle, when I went back and looked at it, they also allowing the 3rd fewest assists on the season, and that number has improved over the last 5 games as well. So I do think she'll go under, Christian. It would be my recommendation on Jordan Canada's assists for this matchup. All right, let's keep it moving. Next game up, I think we still got 2 more left, and that is going to be the Liberty and the Sparks. Real quick updated line. Does look like it's still 12.5. As far as the total goes, it was 163.5 yesterday when I made the graphics. It is still 163.5. I see a 164 up as well. So let's jump into this one. It's not a lot to really jump into. The Liberty are light years better than the Sparks. We know that, indicative of the record. They almost got the opposite record. The Liberty are 26-6, whereas the Sparks are 6-24. You get the Liberty second game of a 3-game road trip. Like I said, they got that stop next in Seattle. Big game for Stewie coming up. It always seems like it's a big game when she goes back to Seattle. Only 1 day's rest, and of course they beat the Mercury in their last game. Offensively, just 8th over the last 5 games. Defensively, number 1 team in the WNBA. We talked about taking Phoenix team total under in that last game. Didn't pull the trigger, and that was an easy winner. Last 5 games, number 2 in net rating as well. This is a really good team. They had a little bit of a hiccup in their at home against the Connecticut Sun, but they bounced back in a big way the other day. On the Spark side, 2 days rest, first game back home after a 4-game road trip. Of course, they had that tank job against the Dallas Wings the other day and were outscored 40-18 in the fourth quarter to lose the game by, I think, 3 points. 4-10 straight up, 4-10 against the number. Only way, and you can see offensively, 11th over their last 5 games, defensively, number 8th and 10th in net rating. I just think the Sparks going to try to go out here and have fun, man. It's, we put the future in on the Sparks to go under on their 8.5 wins. Hopefully that continues to hold true. I talked to you guys about, thinking that the rest of their schedule is against teams that are actually playing for something, whereas the Sparks are not playing for anything right now. So will they lose the game? Absolutely. I think that they will. But I do think that they'll go out and try to have fun. I wanted to look at pace real quick because I'm thinking over or nothing in this game as well. It feels like a game that Liberty can go out, do whatever it is that they wanted to do. Of course, we do have to mention, I'd be remiss without mentioning this, the one thing that does stand out to me in this game. And that is before the Olympic break, right? Right after the Olympic break, I think I was on the Sparks in that game to keep it, close and manageable. And I think they were getting a similar number, 12.5, 11.5. The Liberty smoked the LA Sparks in that game. I remember them scoring 100. What was the score? Let me just double check it. I want to get that for you guys. They beat the August the 15th. They beat the first game back since the Olympic break. They beat the Sparks 103-68. And it was over with from the beginning. I remember it being 29-10 at the end of the first quarter. You could think it's a revenge spot. I can't get there with the Sparks, man. I can't lay with the Liberty either, just because, like I said, it does feel like a sandwich spot with them having Seattle on deck. But if we look at the Sparks really quickly, let me just look at them in revenge spots this season. I know it can't be great. 3-7, 3-11 straight up, 7-7 against the number. They failed to cover their last one against the Mystics. They did cover against the Sun. This is a game I'm not really interested in. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are 2-6 against the spread in their last 7. And if they are home dog, they are in the same spot. They are, if I can get it to load. Maybe not. Doesn't really matter, honestly. It'd be over for this game for me if I'm playing anything. 3-4 against the number. So not a lot really going on there. Sparks as a double-digit home dog. Something that I wanted to look into. 4-0 to the over in those games, allowing about 94 points per game. Every team is going up and over their team total, outside of the Aces, who missed about half a point. So, yeah, over is the recommendation for me. Only way I'm looking at this one. Let's go to the comments. Manny says he got the Sparks plus 13.5. Best of luck to you. They could cover. Helm says over a pass for him, right there with you. Smokey says he likes Stewie to go over her points, rebounds, and assists at 31.5. Adonis says Sparks revenge spot. They should make at least cover. Hopefully might get blown out by the second quarter. I'll say this. Last thing I'll mention about this game, because I know I'm not gonna bet it. If I am looking at the first half, if you guys watched the show on Sunday, I said, not laying points with Dallas specifically in the first quarter and in the first half. And I kind of feel the same way here. If you want to take the Sparks, and I said this the other day, you want to do it in the first half. The Sparks do not cover for the full game sometimes. With a big spread like this, they potentially could. But the Sparks are 6-5 against the number as a home dog this season. And they've been covering in their more recent games as well. If I just look at the Sparks, let's see, I'm on moneyballer.com, by the way. If I just look at post games after the All-Star break, that's what I'm looking for. The Sparks are 5-1 against the number because they can ball, like they can hoop. they can, and you probably get a plus 6.5, plus 7.5. That might be the recommendation for the game. If they run out of gas, it's typically in the second half, and we've seen it over and over again. Sparks losing by 20, JW says. Liberty pulled the same thing as the Aces last night, minus 12.5. Don't think I can trust them. I can't trust them because they're coming off a big win against Phoenix, and it's a bit of a sandwich spot with Seattle on deck. Sparks team total under. Nah, I'm not playing that. I would look over, even though the Sparks defense, the Liberty defense has been really, really good. Not taking the Libs team total under either. Lingowick says, look at Sparks first half since the break. Yep, just looked at it. 5-1 against the spread. And that was a winner from the game against Dallas as well. Smokey says, if the Liberty jump out big first quarter lead, then take the other team live in the first half, it continues to cash. Yeah, Liberty do that thing where they score a bunch of points and the offense looks great, and then it comes back down to earth. So, yeah, those are my recommendations for this game. Be Sparks first half plus the points, or the game to go up and over. And let's make sure I write that as well so I don't forget it. New York, LA over the 163.5, and LA Sparks first half plus, let's see what the best first half number I can get real quick for the Sparks. Plus 7.5 on Bet Rivers. Probably not widely available, but yeah, plus 7.5 for the Sparks in the first half. And I forgot to go over the injury report for the game, but I don't think it's anybody. Just the same thing. Sparks going to be without Lexi Brown. Laser Clarendon was ruled out. Ari McDonald's out as well. New York doesn't have anybody on the injury report. All right, let's get to the next one. And I didn't have a player prop in that game that I like that I know, but I do have one in this game that I like. So we got the Lynx and the Mercury. I think this line moved, right? Let me just double check it. It was 3.5 when I made the graphics yesterday. And yeah, it's still 3.5, 4. You can get a 4 if you like Phoenix as well. Looks like the average line is probably plus 4. The total is the same, 163.5. So injury report for this one, we have I think it's a clean injury report. Yeah, nobody on the injury report for Minnesota. And just Rebecca Allen, who continues to miss time for the Mercury. She's missed the last 5 or 6 games. She hasn't played since the Olympic break. So Minnesota, 3 days rest, first of a 2-game road trip, 5-0 straight up and against the spread since the Olympic break. They've been the hottest team since the Olympic break, with back-to-back wins against the Aces, back-to-back wins against the Washington Mystics, and they go they take care of home court when they play against the Indiana Fever on the jersey retirement celebration day for Maya Moore. And this team has looked good. It's really difficult to fade them. Offensive rating, you can see last 5 games, number 1. Defensive rating, number 4. Net rating, number 1. And they get a Mercury team coming off a loss to the New York Liberty. 1 day's rest for them. So rest advantage goes to the Minnesota Lynx. Second of a 3-game homestand for them. They got the Aces up next. They're probably going to beat the Aces, honestly. but they are one of the better home teams. And if you guys remember the last time these two teams played before the Olympic break, it was ChrisBeCappinn who hit that game-winning shot in the right corner. Lynx would have won and covered. And ChrisBeCappinn was like, nah, we're not having none of that. So Mercury have been good. I always talk about the X factor. I think the Lynx are the better team though, and I think the Mercury will get back to their winning ways at home. I just don't think it's going to be when they're playing against the two best teams in the WNBA right now, that being the New York Liberty and that being the Minnesota Lynx. When you have those two teams back to back, you can kind of look like a shell of yourself. I do think that the Lynx are the second best team in the WNBA right now. So it'd be Minnesota for me. I think that they can kind of keep it going here. I know it's difficult to fade the Mercury. You guys can see that 9-5 straight up, 9-5 against the spread at home, and they've covered every game as a home dog outside of two. One of them being that last game that just happened. So if I'm playing the game, I don't think that I think when I look deeper into the game, I think it's a big matchup advantage with Napheesa Collier, and it's not just because Fee continues to go crazy offensively, and she's the reigning player of the week. She's gone over her 21.5 points in 4 straight games. She's attempted 15 shots or more in all 4 games. The matchup with Phoenix is an interesting one because they don't really have a big that can defend her in stature. They typically play small ball, the Phoenix Mercury do, where they have BG at the center, and then really it's just a bunch of smaller guards, surrounding her, whether that's, Natasha Cloud, ChrisBeCappinn. I don't even think of Sophia Cunningham as a big, like not that can contend with somebody like Fee. And if you look at Breanna Stewart, if you look at her last game against Phoenix, it kind of stuck out to me. She had 21 points on 8 for 17 shooting. And I think Napheesa they definitely have similar skill sets. Both are 3-level scores, and they both present that mismatch because they're bigger than all of the 4s that the Mercury actually put out there on the floor. So I think, that is a big strength. Phoenix also struggles to defend the 3-point line. So Kayla McBride could have a really big game. Courtney Williams in the mid-range game should be good. And I think the Lynx are the better team. They probably got revenge on their mind, even though they have been one of the better teams. So if I am buying a favorite today, I do like the Minnesota Lynx. The other play I wanted to mention really quickly, I gave you guys the spill for Napheesa to go up and over her 21.5 points. But it would be Napheesa's rebounds. I talked about this in the underdog play as well. Napheesa Collier, over 10.5 rebounds. 2 games ago, she had the career high 18 rebounds against the Aces, where she actually out-rebounded the Aces by herself. And when you think about the Aces and the Mercury, you think about what they have in common. They're both poor rebounding teams. Phoenix actually allows the second most offensive rebounds, the 4th most rebounds overall. And the Aces go in that same category. Aces lost the game yesterday. One of the things that's being overlooked is they got killed on the boards. Freaky T was going crazy on the boards. I can't remember how many she had, but I want to say it was 17. So Phoenix and the Aces, really struggle against opposing teams that can rebound the basketball. This will be the 4th time that Napheesa Collier has played against the Phoenix Mercury this season. She has 14 rebounds, 12 rebounds, and 11 rebounds going back in order. So last game she had 14, she had 12 in the second game. First time they played, she had 11. And like I said, I think it's just because outside of Brittany Griner, who's also not the greatest rebounder, the Phoenix Mercury really struggle to rebound the basketball. So expecting Fee to have another big rebounding game today. I like the over 10.5 boards. That's what I'm thinking. What are you guys thinking before we get into a quick recap and jump up off of here? What's up, Ball Talk? He says, what's good, basketball family? Late to class, but just wanted to say that the Aces and Storm are who they are. Talented team that lack cohesion, so they fail to cover, and that's a fact. Adonis is 5-1. I'm taking them first half. I think he's talking about the Sparks. And Dropping Dime says, Liv's first quarter over. Potentially could get there. Yeah, just depends on if they're going to make shots or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I have no idea. Helms says he's going to keep riding the wagon. Lynx -3.5. Love it, Helms. That's on my short list as well. Chris, this is my favorite play of the day. Lynx -3. They're playing like the 2016 Warriors. They are shooting a lot of threes, playing really good defense and getting out in transition. I'll give you that. Bill says Lynx trifecta. They're rolling. Smokey McLeod says the only bet I like here is ChrisBeCappinn 15 points. Napheesa 20 points and Diana Taurasi 10 points. Lena Smith 1-3. Griner just stays at the in the paint. Gobert's daughter. Oh, that almost took me out, bro. I read these comments live. I don't know what I'm reading sometimes. Adonis likes Apisha Karya over her 21.5 points, man. Do the Lynx cover second half? I'm not sure, Manny. I would say yes. They've been a much better second half team than they have been first half. Helm says Fee making her argument for MVP. Yeah. If the Aces keep struggling, man. Even with Asia going out there dropping 40, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be real hard. All right, let's get into a quick recap. I need to update the screen real quick because I need to add these player props that I talked about so you guys can see those as well. So bear with me for a second, and then we'll get into a quick recap. Bada boom, bada bang. There we go. Lots to like today. I think this is going to be the first time, and maybe only the second time all season where it's been 5 games on, man. And the greatest thing is all of them don't start at the same time. I think it's only 2 that start at the same time. So lots to like today in the WNBA, man. Hopefully this show was helpful for you guys. Not that you have to play everything on the screen because I haven't locked in any of these bets. That's why they all in red. But I think we got some nice plays here. I really do. Couple unders for player props, and I'm not gonna go regurgitate all of this. Go back and listen to the breakdown. I'll chop it up and put it in sections for you guys, but in chapters for you guys. But love Alyssa Thomas to go under 8.5 assists today. I think I was on an island with that one. I also like Indiana to be able to win the game outright and cover the +4. Angel Reese. Back 20 rebound games. Think she can get over 14.5. It's going to be a ton of missed shots today. Jordan Canada under 6.5 assists. She's going under in 4 straight. Fee over in every game against Phoenix so far this season. I think it's going to be more of a defensive type game. And plays on the left-hand side will be the spreads that I would be looking at. Connecticut team total under 82.5. I think you can actually get an 83.5. So just kind of monitor that one. Washington and Chicago under 159 is probably going to be one that I do lock in. New York and LA over 163.5. And if I'm playing that spread, like I said, it would be Sparks early. Just think it's a sandwich spot for the New York Liberty. And then we mentioned not listed is, and we'll just add it over here, would be Lynx. Only looking towards Minnesota, man. Minus the 3.5. Would be my recommendation for that game, even though they are on the road and Atlanta's short number. That's what I got for you guys, man. Hopefully that's helpful. If we get back into resources, kind of change this up just a tad bit, but I always talk about OddsJam. Referral code is CBC if you guys are interested in signing up and checking out OddsJam. You can get 20% off your first month using that code. The link for it is in the description, as is the link for moneyballer.com as well. They've upgraded me to 50% off first billing cycle. And I see people signing up for Moneyballer, man. So shout out to the people that are checking the website out. Very, very comprehensive website that takes a lot of time out, from trends to team totals to, just a lot of data. Can use it on your phone, use it on your laptop. Love what Moneyballer has to offer. And then the other resources at the bottom as well. Give Me the Dog, Killer Sports, Cleaning the Glass are other websites that I use for people who are interested in, looking at how I research the game. It's gonna be the show, man. If you guys found it helpful, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, share the show, leave me a comment, let me know what you guys are betting. Do you like the plays that I'm making? Would you fade me? Let me know. Link for all my official plays is gonna be in the description. Bet responsibly. Best of luck. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new too, and hit the like button on the way out. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy your what is today? Wednesday, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.